welcome back to my channel. My name is Kendra and today I'm going to be doing my September book haul. I have about 20 or so books that I accumulated over the month. I have some books that I swapped out. I have some books that I purchased from Amazon and a used bookstore, and then also my book of the month selections. So first I'm going to go through my book of the month selections. The first one I have is Summer of '69 by Ellen Hildebrandt, and this is about a family. They go to their grandmother's historic home in Nantucket, and it's their story of their summer, I'm assuming. So this sounds really good, and I've never read anything by Ellen Hildebrandt, so this will be my first by her, and I'm excited to give this author a try. The next one I have is This Tender Land by William Kent Kruger, and this is set in 1932. These two white brothers attend a Native American school, and it seems like the two brothers commit a terrible crime and they flee. So it sounds like a thriller historical fiction type book, so I'm excited to get into this one. The next one I have is If Only I Could Tell You by Hannah Beckerman, and I've heard that this is very similar to the TV show This Is Us, so if you like that TV show, I guess you would like this book as well. This is about two sisters. They used to be really close, and then something tears them apart, and I guess decades later they try to rekindle their relationship. So sounds good, and I've heard really good things about this book. The next book I received from the publisher Lake Union, One for the Blackbird, One for the Crow by Olivia Hawker, and this takes place in the late 1800s in Wyoming, and it's about the American frontier. I have never read any books set during that time period, so I'm excited to read something from that time period and learn a little bit more about our American history. The next ones I'm going to go through are the ones that I received from my friends. First one I received from Jackie at Be Book'N, and we do a monthly buddy box with some of our friends, and we send each other goodies, and then we also send each other a book as well. The book I received from Jackie is The Perfect Son by Lauren North, and this one says, when Tess Clark wakes up in the hospital the day after her son Jamie's 8th birthday, she's sure of three things. Her husband died 3 months ago, she's been stabbed, and her son is missing. She suspects that her brother-in-law and grief therapist are involved, but no one is listening to her. This one sounds super intriguing, and this cover is really, really pretty. I love the aesthetic of this book very, very much. I can't wait to get into this one, and hopefully I can read this one in October. The next one I also swapped with Jackie at Be Book'N, and I got The Au Pair by Emma Ruse, and this is about a woman and her twin brothers, and supposedly there was a photograph that she saw where her mom is only holding one baby, so she's wondering who this other boy is that is supposedly her brother. So it sounds really interesting, and I'm excited to get to this one as well. These next ones I swapped with Shelby at Shelby Taggart Reads. The first one she sent me is Me Without You by Kelly Rimmer. The only thing I know about this is literally it's about a story of how love can break our hearts and heal them. Sounds like a great romance book, so. And I know she really, really enjoyed this one, so I'm really excited to get into this one as well. The next one I have is The Tattooist of Auschwitz by Heather Morris. This is set in World War II, and the main character is a tattooist that tattoos all of the prisoners with the numbers on their wrists. So sounds like a heartbreaking story. I've had my eye on this one for a while, so I'm pretty excited to get into this. I feel like I'm going to read a lot of historical fictions in November. I'm really hoping to get to this one. The next one is We Were the Lucky Ones by Georgia Hunter, and this is also set during World War II. I really enjoy World War II books, and I find them very fascinating, so I'm excited to get to this one. The next one is Lost Roses by Martha Hall Kelly, and I read Lilac Girls last year, I believe, and it was one of my favorite books of the year. I absolutely loved that book. It was so, so good. And that one was set in World War II, and this one is set in World War I, and it follows some of the characters from that book. So I'm super excited to get to this one because I love Lilac Girls. The next couple books I have are books that I swapped on a Facebook group that I'm in. The next one I have is Montauk by Nicola Harrison, and this is set in 1938 in Long Island, New York, and it's about New York's wealthiest elite. And yeah, so that sounds super fascinating. I ended up accumulating a lot of historical fiction this month. The next one I have is Beartown by Frederick Bachman, and I'm super excited that I swapped this book because I've been wanting to read this for a very long time. I believe this one is set in Canada, and it's about a hockey team and a violent crime that I believe someone on the hockey team committed, so I can't wait to get into this because I've been wanting to read this for a very long time. And the last one that I swapped was The Sister's Chase by Sarah Healy, and this is about two sisters that are left homeless after their mother's death. I've seen this one around and it's looked really, really interesting, so I snatched it up. So these next few are the ones that I got at a used bookstore, Half Price Books. If you guys aren't near one, I'm so sorry because it's probably one of the best used bookstores I've ever been to. And they were having their 20% off sale on top of everything that's already on sale for Labor Day. So I definitely took advantage of that sale and I grabbed a couple books. The first one I got was After the End by Claire McIntosh. And I've already read this book and you'll hear more about it in my wrap up coming up. This is about a little boy. He has brain cancer, and the parents have to decide if they will let him go or if they will do advanced treatment, and the two parents are conflicted. One wants one wants the other. So like I said, I'll get more into my thoughts about this one in my wrap up. The next one I have is Pieces of Her by Karen Slaughter. I read The Good Daughter, oh my gosh, I don't know, a couple years ago, and loved that book. It was very, very dark and gritty. Loved it. So I knew I needed to pick up more Karen Slaughter books. And I believe this one is about a woman goes to a mall and there's a shooting and she ends up becoming the hero. I don't know. So yeah, I'm excited to get into this one. The next one I have is Before She Was Found by Heather Gudenkoff. And this one is about three friends. They're having a sleepover and they go down to the railroad tracks, and then I guess later that night, and one of the friends is found bloody and I guess clinging to life. So sounds like a really good thriller, and I can't wait to get into this one. The next one I have is The Dream Daughter by Diane Chamberlain. I read a previous book by her. I honestly cannot remember what it's called at the moment. It was about polio, and I found that very, very fascinating. So, and also my friend Jackie, she also really loved this book, and she doesn't like historical fiction. I like historical fiction, so I know I'll like this one. And this is taking place during Vietnam War, and I believe there's like some time travel involved, so sounds good. And like I said, I really enjoy this author, so I'm excited to get to this book. And I'm pretty stoked that I found this at a used bookstore as well. The next one I have is City of Girls by Elizabeth Gilbert. And this takes place in the 1940s during Manhattan. And I believe it's surrounded by like actors and actresses and like famous people. And I've heard some really good things about this book, so I'm excited to get to this one. And the last one I got from Half Price Books is A Family of Strangers by Emily Richards. This is about a brother and sister, and the sister is accused of a murder. So, and I've seen this one around on Instagram and it looked pretty interesting, so I'm excited to get to this one as well. And the last ones I got from Amazon. The first one is Eleanor and Gray by Brittany C. Cherry. This is probably the most beautiful cover I have ever seen in my whole entire life. Absolutely gorgeous. And I also read this in September. So this is about Eleanor and Gray, where they met each other when they were in high school. She was going through a traumatic time and he was there for her. And then something happens, they lose contact with each other, and then years later she becomes the nanny of his children and they have no idea. So it's like they're rekindling relationship, and it's probably the most beautiful book I've read in a very long time. Next one I have is Woman 99 by Gear McAllister. This is set in an insane asylum, and the main character goes inside the asylum to, I guess, find her sister, because her sister is committed there, and little does she know, she starts finding out that the people that are actually committed there really aren't insane. So this sounds super, super interesting. I am intrigued by insane asylums, so I'm pretty excited to get into this one. The next one I have is Where the Forest Meets the Stars by Glendy Vanderhaat, and honestly I have no idea what this is about. The cover is gorgeous, and I heard some people say they really like this book, and it was cheap on Amazon, so I'll give it a shot. The next one I have is Making Faces by Amy Harmon, and this is a military romance, and my friend Shelby loves this book, so I'm super excited to get into this one. And the last one I have is What the Wind Knows by Amy Harmon. This is set in 1920s in Ireland. I haven't read anything about Ireland in the 1920s, so I'm pretty excited to learn some more history. Well, that is my very large book haul. There's a lot of historical fiction that I have, and I'm pretty excited to get to. I haven't read any historical fiction for a little while, and I'm really itching at the bit to read some, especially I think in November I definitely want to read some, because I'm sure I'll be over all the thrillers and horror that I'm reading in October. Alright, so let me know in the comments which books I should get to first, or which ones that you guys really liked. And until then, I will see you in my next video. Bye!